Hello again, and welcome to the wide world of zombie movies. This week's film is Zombie 5, Killing Birds, from 1988. But first, enjoy this trailer. Riveting, wasn't it? By the way, if you want to see the trailer with the original audio, it's available on YouTube. Speaking of audio, fair warning, the music in this film is stuff of nightmares. It's not horror movie scary, it's Yoko Ono singing a duet with Tiny Tim of Enter Sandman scary. Before we get started though, spoiler alert! Zombie 5 begins with an army ranger, Fred Brown, coming home. He stops by the aviary on the way in. Can't forget to include as many scenes of birds as we can, including his airborne patch. Anyway, he's about to surprise his wife, but she surprises him first when he catches her in bed with another guy. Surprise, I'm cheating on you. So he kills the boyfriend, but he lets his wife live long enough to terrorize her. He cuts the phone line, disables the car, and waits for her to wake up. After chasing her down through the aviary and killing her, he's about to clean up, but he's interrupted. Apparently, her parents had been watching his son while she was busy, and picked this exact moment to drop him back off. A psycho's job is never done. So he kills her parents too. The baby's spared, of course. Why isn't the baby wearing a diaper? Couldn't that get messy? Back on track. It's time to clean up his mess. First though, he decides to let the birds out of the cages. Why? I really don't know. In the middle of cleaning, one of the birds attacks him, ripping out one eye in gory detail and blinding him in the other. The next part is odd. The ambulance takes him and his son to the hospital and he's allowed to hold his son one last time. But there are two officers escorting him and he's not wearing handcuffs. So did he serve time? Did he just lose his son because he couldn't care for him now that he was blind? We don't find out. Flash forward 20 years later to Steve, a student at Loyola University. He's just received a grant to cover an expedition. He proceeds to tell his colleagues, who are accompanying him on it, and they're overjoyed. Anne, a fellow college student and journalist for The Witness, will tag along to cover their journey in search of the ivory-billed woodpecker. No one seems to like her though. Her professor, Dr. Green, is a bit creepy too. Soon we're introduced to Jennifer, the nerdy scientific one, Rob, the computer tech, Paul, the photographer, Mary, Paul's girlfriend, and Brian. Brian's a schmuck who works for the police department and is charged with making sure nothing bad happens to the van the state provides. The expedition takes them to the last local person to hear the bird, Dr. Fred Brown. Steve and Ann knock on the door, let themselves in, and proceed to snoop around. Moments later, they meet... Ah! Holy crap! Why is he not wearing his sunglasses? Censor that. Too late. I'll be seeing that in my nightmares for a while. Anyway, moments later, Dr. Brown asks to see Steve by touching all over his face. It's really weird and awkward, and I can't help but wonder how often he washes his hands. Let's move past it quickly and talk about the zombies for a second. There haven't been any yet, and we're a third of the way through the film. Okay then, if I haven't said it enough, Brian's a schmuck. Inside, Brown's boring them with technical mumbo-jumbo and other things he does as a blind birdwatcher. Steve and Ann are about to leave when Brown tells him he has one last thing. Rifling through a drawer with pictures and stuff, he hands them a folder with the last known whereabouts of the woodpecker. They thank him and leave. Outside, Ann is upset that Steve stopped her from saying anything about a family photo they saw in the drawer. It's revealed through dialogue that publicly no one knows what happened to Brown's family. What does that have to do with the ivory-billed woodpecker, Steve says. And what does any of this have to do with zombies, which we haven't seen yet? Not much apparently. Let's trudge on. They all go to the location of the last woodpecker sighting, and we're reminded yet again that Brian's a schmuck. He's playing the harmonica while everyone does their investigation for the bird. I swear the harmonica plays through the whole scene. This would be the perfect place to have a zombie pop up and bite him, or a deadly killing bird attack, or anything really. Whatever will stop him from playing. Zombie 5, all the action of bird watching with all the excitement of a harmonica concert. Here's the part where I invoke the wrath of all the harmonica concert lovers. Just kidding, there aren't any. Moving right along, as they search, they come across some familiar sights from the beginning of the movie. They're almost to the house where Brown killed his wife and others. I'm honestly wondering where the zombies are coming from at this point. Brown's victims would have decayed by now. Oh, listen! A woodpecker! Is anyone going to look around? Will anyone see if it's the one they're looking for? No? So they find an old Chevy with a zombie in it. Just kidding. It's only a dead body. I suppose Brian, being a cop, will suggest they stop looking for the bird and contact the police. I mean, he's a cop too, so... Never mind. Brian doesn't check the glove box for info on the corpse, or even get the license plate number. Everyone just runs and we move on to the next scene. The group needs someplace to spend the night. It's getting darker out. They find an abandoned house. They break in and snoop around. Going along with horror movie logic, they split up. Jennifer finds the aviary right off the bat. Paul and Mary wind up in the bedroom and nothing happens. For all those keeping score, that's 0 on the zombies and 0 on the fan service. I'll give the movie this though. At least they appear to be thoroughly checking out the place before staying the night there. A generator is found in the basement and Steve locates the attic. After looking around for a moment, the attic appears too creepy. Nope! And Steve leaves. In another upstairs room, Ann and Mary spot a lot of birds outside the window. In addition to that, Ann finds a picture of Dr. Brown and his wife. When she looks back at it, it dissolves to the point it's unrecognizable. At this point, I'm wondering if this is a zombie movie or a ghost movie, because in the next scene, we have supernatural stuff going on with a rocking chair. A couple of scenes later, the group, minus Steve, has met back in the family room and Rob gets to work typing on his laptop. Meanwhile, Steve is having a flashback, imagining freaky stuff including his mom as a zombie. So, we finally get our first zombie, and it's just a figment of Steve's imagination. Bookmark this moment as it's the only decent looking zombie in the film. He finally stumbles out of his delusion and meets back with the group. A moment of dialogue where everyone agrees that this is the place to spend the night, except Steve. Nope. And Brian and Rob go to get the generator working. A bit of foreshadowing of Rob's demise, and they head back upstairs. They make plans to alert the police about the dead body they found that morning. They begin splitting off to find places to sleep, and we come to Paul and Mary making out and leading up to some fan service, right? Wrong. After making out for a few moments, Paul just rolls off of her and goes to sleep. Isn't that supposed to happen after sex? It must stink needing the little blue pill before you're 25. Anyway, Rob is downstairs and encounters some trouble with his laptop while entering some info on Dr. Brown. Either there's something supernatural going on, or it's just a crap computer from the late 80s. Meanwhile, Jennifer goes exploring in the aviary and encounters a zombie! Finally! But Mary hears Jen scream and looks out the window. All she sees is Jen freaking out. The zombie is invisible to her. Jen hides in another room but is killed by another zombie that was already there. Let's talk about the zombies in this film. They're slow, incredibly strong, invisible sometimes, and just kill people with their hands. They don't bite, but the zombie effects budget does, as they look like crap. So Mary thinks something has happened to Jen and they go searching for her. Again, they end up splitting up. Brian finds his way to the basement and steps in something wet. It's fuel for the generator. It's leaking quite a bit. He moves on and comes across Rob and Steve. They chat for a sec, walk outside and move off in separate directions. Seconds later, Brian is engulfed in flames from mystery fire.
Stop, drop, and roll, Brian!
Has no one seen the G.I. Joe PSAs? Really? Knowing could have been half the battle. But it's not, and he dies. Brian's screaming brings everyone together outside momentarily, before they split up again. Steve, Ann, and Mary walk right past Jen's body while Paul and Rob find the van nearby. How'd that get there? Steve and the girls are just about to walk past Jen's body again when Mary spots it at the last second and screams. Paul and Rob run to see what happened. They all agree to get out of there while the getting's good, but not before Rob rescues his laptop. Paul and Mary run to the van first. Rob and the other two get back to the van and they realize Brian had the keys. Fortunately, Rob must have taken a hot wiring course as he steps up to take care of the situation. A zombie appears in front of the van and everyone freaks out. Mary moves to the back, but is grabbed by a Z through the window and killed. Everyone panics. Rob must have flunked this course because the van won't stay running, so they run back into the house. Once inside, Rob accesses his computer to find an answer to the problem. This is particularly funny as he has no internet. He's trying to find an answer from the computer itself. Good luck with that. We skip back to Dr. Brown, who's having issues and noticing the bird sounds getting freakier. Back with the group, the power goes out and Rob and Paul go to take care of it. They get it running again, but a door suddenly opening up startles them, and the compass cord Rob has around his neck gets caught in the gears. The generator is slowly killing Rob. No one thinks to shut the generator off or try and slip out of the cord. In fact, Paul just stands there like an idiot and watches Rob die. Steve and Ann are trying to board up the place when Rob's computer beeps and he gets a weird message. By the way, nothing came to the door in the basement. It just opened. But when Paul gets back upstairs, he lies his weaselly little guts out and claims,
They got him, and they're coming to get us!
They continue to board the place up, but a zombie bursts through the wall and grabs Ann. They get her free and all run up to the attic, securing the hatch. They just have to wait until morning now. They're safe, right? Wrong. Apparently, there's a roof zombie that bursts through and kills Paul. You know, nothing brings down a home's value more than roof zombies. So nothing else happens until dawn. Paul just hangs there all night. In the morning, Steve and Ann sneak back downstairs and meet up with Dr. Brown. How did a blind man make his way through the woods with horrible stuff going on all around at night, because he would have had to leave early, without so much as a scratch?
Shh, no questions.
Anyway, Dr. Brown reveals that Steve is his son, that fear is what gets people attacked, and that they want him because of what he's done. He tells Steve and Ann to leave. They do, and the birds kill Dr. Brown off. The end. If the birds wanted to kill him off, why didn't they do that when they ripped his eyes out years ago? Or when he was walking through the woods to get there? How'd the birds get their powers? Fair questions, but no answers. There are too many problems in this movie to list here. Let's just stick with the ones related to the title. There aren't enough real zombies in this flick to fill a breadbasket, and we never actually witnessed the birds kill anyone. It's implied. This horror movie was horrible. I give it a 2 out of 10. So until next time, this is Xylestos with the wide world of zombie movies reminding you to be safe, be smart, be ready. Oh, and watch out for roof zombies.